This is Matthew McConaughey.
Natalie Portman.
James Patterson.
Michael Ian Black.
And you are listening to
Five Questions
with Dan
Schawbel.
Raekwon, welcome to Five Questions.
Thank you, man. I'm happy to be here, man. Let's get it. Let's get it going.
How do you deal with both rivalries and racism in your childhood growing up in Staten Island, New York?
How I deal with rivalries and racism is basically you don't allow it to discourage your dreams and your goals. You know, I think a lot of times we allow ourselves to be told that we can do this or we can't do this, when in all reality, you can do whatever you please to do if it's there for you to do it. You know, I wouldn't say that, you know, don't allow yourself to be stagnated, number one. You know, don't let nobody tell you that you can't be what you want to be because they can't be it. They feel like they didn't make it. So sometimes you have to make your own decisions and go with your own heart. You know, try it, you know, and that's what people fall short because they just assume that they can't do something until they try it. It's like we call it, don't try to judge the book because you only see the frame. Check out the book.
I love that.
Talk about the frame. Exactly.
Yeah, so you must have had a lot of self-confidence as a kid too. Like you really believed in yourself, and part of self-belief and confidence allows you to, you know, ignore the, let's say, haters or critics or people who are saying terrible remarks to you.
Absolutely. You know, you have to block that, you know, and say to yourself, you know, I could be the best that I want to be, not what you want me to be, you know, what I want to be. So, you know, like you said, you just got to push forward, perseverance.
What aspects of the relationship between the Wu-Tang clan members made the group both very successful, but also led to breakups and arguments?
I would say, you know, dealing with a group is not easy. You know, we go through things. We have our moments. It's like a real brotherhood going on. And sometimes, you know, success, it breeds egos. It builds them. And just being able to deal with so many members with so many different mentalities, it's not easy, but you try to make the best out of the solution by looking at what's right and what's wrong. You know, that's what we had to do a lot of times. It just take our time and realize what's right and what's wrong. You know, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You got to be able to man up, and that makes you even more of a winner when you could admit when you're wrong. You know, so we had our tough times, man. I mean, that comes with the territory of being in a group. But what kept us together is knowing what we created, knowing what we built, knowing that we have our fans that love us for us regardless. You know, they might tear us up a little bit, take us through the blender, but for the most part, they believe in us. And it's almost like your family believing in you. You know what I mean? Sometimes you love your family so much that you got to stay away, but at the end of the day, you know you still love them.
Yeah, you got to put the great work that has yielded a lot of success, as well as the core friendships and foundation that you establish ahead of any arguments.
Absolutely. At least to the best of your ability, you know? So that's what we try to do is like, you know, long as it never became a physical situation, it's like words are just words, you know, that's what men are going to do sometimes. We're going to argue, we're going to fuss, we're going to fight, you know, but at the end of the day, it's about coming back and realizing the importance of brotherhood and who we are.
How did your recovery after 4 gunshot wounds lead to you honing your creative process?
You know, getting shot was definitely torturous for me because, you know, it was risky because I could have lost my leg. You know what I mean? I could have actually just had one leg, you know, but you know, me just surviving that situation, it just really gave me time to think and really figure out what the next plan is going to be for my life. So in a way, I kind of like glad it happened. You know what I mean? At the time I wasn't, but later on when I look at it, it definitely gave me an opportunity to have that by yourself meeting, where you by yourself talking to yourself. And allow myself to just say, yo, it's time to grow up and make some more important decisions for yourself. This is not what God has intended for you. If he wanted you to lay down right now and be up there with him, you would be there right now with him with no problem. But unfortunately, it was a lesson learned. It was my way out the streets, knowing that, so you got the talents, man. You know what I mean? All you got to do is just find it in yourself. And that's what I did. I was able to find it and say to myself, yo, man, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna move better. And that's just what it was, when I got with the right guys at the right time. And we here today, still making history.
Oh, that's so beautifully put. And I do think even if you lost everything, you still have that natural talent that you've honed and developed over time so that you could still produce music, right? And that's the beauty of being in the arts. And I think that, getting shot or anything bad that could happen, is a heart attack. I've spoken to a lot of people who have suffered, a great deal as well. Yeah. And that's sort of like the wake up call. Like, life is short. What can I do now with my abilities to maximize the rest of my life?
That's right. It's all about, like I said, man, just, staying positive, man, and taking care of yourself mentally as well as physically. That's what I had to do at the time, dealing with my crisis situation, and just have to take a step back and say, okay, I don't mind taking 3 steps back to move 10 steps forward. Perfect. And that's important though, and that's why, like I said, things that happen, we can't control what happens sometimes. We can't control people's destinies. I think it's the experiences that come with the trial and error run that kind of tells you in its own way what you're heading to, where you're going, or what you're up to. So, it's just all about surrounding yourself with good energy and positive people. And that's what I did. I was able to turn a negative into a positive, and it can happen for anybody.
Absolutely. And how did spirituality, your fans, being a father, and idols like Run DMC inspire your work? You've got a lot of inspirations.
Oh man, that was everything. That was everything to me, because those was my superheroes. Those was my idols. I didn't have a father figure, so the next father figures was the guys that was in the community that I looked up to, that was doing stuff and was doing things that was motivating me, motivating me to be better. So that was the father figure that I never had, those experiences and those teachings. When you being taught by people that have been through things and been through things even worse than you can imagine and getting out of them, it makes you feel like, yo, your situation ain't that bad, because look at his situation and look how he got out of it, or look at her situation and how she overcame that, So to me, being confident and believing for better was always something that was taught to me that I never ever forgot. My mom's always used to say that, you know what I mean? If the first time you may not get it, the second time you'll get it. The second time you may not get it, give it one more good one. You know what I mean? Because you got it in you. You just got to focus. You know what I mean? So that's how I took life. It's like one step at a time,
I know. Yeah. You never know what's possible, and you just got to keep going, because what else are you going to do?
Exactly. You can't give up. I mean, that wasn't never my thing. I always was a go-getter. So, that wasn't even a part of my option list, failure. It was just that, I'm going to take this grade now and run with this grade. But if I wanted to be a better grade, I know I got to work extra harder. So, and smarter. So that's what it was.
And what's your best piece of career advice?
The best piece of advice that I could give guys is surround yourself with great energy, man. Great people, great energy. don't give up. Don't get too overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Stay grounded and just work hard. And as long as you do that, nothing's going to stop you from being great. I mean that.
That's great advice. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, nah, you got it, man. Thanks for having me, Dan.